Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Chapter 4. We'll be working with file processing within Chapter 4. We've talked about this a little bit already. So a flat file is a simple text file. It is there is no internal formatting within it for bolding or underlines. It's an ASCII-based text file. Now, especially with what we'll work with, there are a couple of different kinds of flat files. So a variable length record file, and that's like a database file, but it's holding information, but what we're doing is separating the fields out based upon the delimiter. In this case, a delimiter is a colon. Now, a CSV format, comma separated value format, is the same idea. It simply replaces the colon with a comma. And actually, if you use the term CSV, it could refer to a colon as a delimiter, a comma as a delimiter, anything else as a delimiter. So just be aware of that. A fixed length record is the same file, the same information. However, we have columns 219, and then we have a space. So 4 is that space, and it's not a delimiter, but it's acting as a separator. And then we have columns 5 through 7. Our numbers 4, 3, 2. Again, we have that space that's acting. It's not a delimiter. It's acting as a separator. So in this particular example, all of the records, or all of the columns, if you will, are at a fixed length. Okay, so we have flat files contain typically just simply ASCII characters. When we're talking about records of information within flat files, they can be delimited or variable length and fixed length. Okay, remember that we can use the greater than and double greater than signs to redirect or append input into a file, like be screen output into a file. The greater than sign creates a new file. The double greater than signs append. Now we can also put commands into a particular file and then redirect those commands and have those executed right away when we run a file within VI, so that we can do that as well. We're going to manipulate files in a number of different ways. Probably the most, some of the most more confusing would be combining files, extracting fields, and sorting files. It's simple, but yet it's a little confusing because it's a little cryptic within Linux. Now we have touch is a command, and the main purpose of the command is just simply change the file's timestamp. Let's take a look at that. So let's see, ls-l, I think it was accounts file 2. File 2. So that shows us what that timestamp is, 1222. So if we touch accounts file 2 and look at the file again with a long display, we can see that this particular timestamp has been updated. Okay, so that's really what touch does. Deleting files, we've done that before previously. rm or rmdir, you can remove an empty directory. rm-r removes a non-empty directory. So it'll delete all the files within the directory first and then delete the directory. Now we can use copy commands. In this case, we're going to copy 1, 2, and 3 into, this is a folder called duplicates. Okay, it's a directory called duplicates. So we can copy all 3 files into duplicates. So make directory duplicates. And then I'm going to come over here and just grab a copy of this. And back to my terminal. Paste the command, copy these 3 into duplicates. Change directory to duplicates. And there they are. Now we can also combine files. So if we cat copy 1 and copy 2 and redirect it into total research, okay, so cat copy 1 and copy 2 and redirect it into total research, we should be able to cat or view total research. Okay, so and that copy one contained text that said copy one. Copy two contained text that said copy two. So that's what we're looking at in total research. Okay, on to the next piece. We're going to combine files using a paste command. And paste puts files together in a columnar format. So we have a couple different files, V1 and V2, and we're going to paste them together here. So let's verify cat V1, we have that, cat V2, and then we're just going to simply paste V1 and V2 together. Okay, so we can see that pasting right there, and it puts it together in a columnar format. Now, if you want to redirect that into another file, you can simply redirect into combined. Okay, and then we'll cat combined. Once again, things are pasted together. It's a little odd. I'm going to remove combined because I may need to use it later. So that's pasting. Now let's go ahead and use a paste option with a delimiter. So instead of how we had the spaces, we're going to put a delimiter in between there. All right, so paste, I'll have to type that command in. -D, what is my delimiter? And in this case, it's going to be a comma for a CSV format. And then my files, and then redirect it into V-delimited. Okay. V1, V2, redirect to V-delimited. Okay. We'll cat V-delimited. And we can see then the comma has been put in there. This would be handy where you have a couple different lists of students and you're pulling different files and you're trying to put them together. You're probably going to join them first. Well, we're going to put them together. They're two separate kinds of information that we may go ahead and put together on a line-by-line format. That's how this works, is a line-by-line format. We can join later on, but we can go ahead and put those two separate types of information together on a line-by-line format. They have to line up that way. Okay, so we've looked at paste, and you know what we're going to do with this. I'm going to go ahead. We're at 8 minutes. I'm going to save this. This is part 1, and I'll bring you back in just a second. Okay, let's go ahead and again, we're in chapter 4, file processing. We ended at cutting information. So with cutting, we have text information. We're just going to send output to the screen, and we're going to cut columns. We're going to cut fields, and then manipulate those in different ways. So command is cut, and then -F specifies a field, and you can only use the -F if you're using a delimited format. The -D separates or indicates what that delimiter is, and then the different files from which you're pulling the information from, and then -C refers to the columns that you're using. That's in the variable length. That's using the fixed length format where we have number, space, and then numbers again. So let's go ahead and do that. We will come over here, and what we have in this example are a couple of files. So, and we're going to use the column format first, the -C. So taking a look at Corp Phones 2, you should have that file, and that's what that file looks like. That's that fixed length format. What we're going to do is cut, and we're going to use the -C and then just say columns 14 through 25, which is this last name, clear to this point, and then 26 to 35 from here to here, and then that middle initial. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab the command and just type that in, so hopefully that command will work quickly. Cat corp. You know, one of the things is always verify your files are there first before you run a command. I always do. Okay. Let me hold on to this and see what oh, no spaces. Oh, no, hold on. Okay, I'll pause this right quick. Okay, a little oddness. I think when I copied it over from PowerPoint, I had some odd characters. We're in the same command, cut-c 14 through 25. This bunch, 26 to 35, and then 36. And if I get in here, that's what it's supposed to give me right there. So that's how we can go ahead and cut information out of a fixed length flat file. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing, but we're going to cut it out of a delimited format. So we're going to take cut fields 4 through 6. We're going to use a delimiter of a colon, and then it's going to come out of corp phones 1. So cat phones 1. Okay, that's what that looks like. Now we cut -f, and it should be 4 through 6. I'm putting a space in here. That I might error out on that. -d, the delimiter is a colon. Corp phones 1. And that's what we get. That's the correct stuff right here. So it's pulling those fields using that delimiter. Okay, so that's the way that's supposed to work. So it's looking good. I don't think there's anything else to add with that. Let's go ahead and sort some of these files. So notice that we'll use a sort command, and that is going to sort on -k means which field, and the first field, and then the -t colon. The -t means what the delimiter, it refers to the delimiter, and then what's our output? Corp phones 1 sorted. So I'm going to go ahead and just double check in the interest of time and run this particular command first, make sure that we have it working out for us, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we are going to cat corp phones 1. Okay, that's what that file looks like. Now, I'm just going to simply sort. This says sort on the first field, -k is the field, 1. Now, they're all 219s. It's not going to show us anything. However, let's run this and see if it works. See if it doesn't error out is what we're after. -t colon, the T means is referring to the delimiter as the colon and then the file. So we'll go ahead and grab this, and it didn't error out. That's a good thing. Now let's go ahead and change that -k to 4. Field 4 should be the last name. So let's go ahead and hit enter on that. And then it's been resorted to Harrison, Mitchell, Moore, Olson, and Polk. So that's how that sort works. Hold on, and I'll see what more we have. Joining. I think joining is this last piece. So let's talk about this really quickly. Joining will take 2 files, 2 flat files. And with joining, you have to have one common field. And that could be the first field in one file, the last field in another. It doesn't matter. You can point to whichever field you want joined. Typically, you'll be using a delimited format with both files, so you can specify which field is which field. Okay, so it's in page 175 of your text. What we'll look at here, and then we'll do a couple of examples, run a couple of examples here. We have one file, and Brown, Laverne, all the information about this person is in this file. Last name, Brown, Anders, Kaplan, and Crow. So we have a second file, and this might be some other departmental information or some other kinds of information. The common field that we have is the last name. Okay, if we can go ahead and join these 2 files together and pull specific information out of each. We can grab it all, or we can pull specific information by using a join command. In this case, we have an example where we pulled, based upon Brown, the first name, the department, and some other information. Okay, so next we'll use, and this is the example that we'll go ahead and do, we have join zoo and join zoo 1. This is the flat file associated with join zoo, camels, vegetables, and some other information. Join zoo 1, camels are herbivores, and so on. So we'll go ahead, oh, that's wrong. We'll go ahead and join. Now what this says is, this command says is from the first file, which is the first file, we'll take field 1, camels. -2 means the second file, join zoo2, and we're going to compare that to field 1 there as well. The delimiter being a -t is the colon, and we're going to go ahead and join and then feed the output into join display. So again, the first file, which is listed, the second file, which is listed, the first field and the first field from each, and then we're going to redirect the output to join display. So it'll end up looking like camels, vegetables, so on and so on, and herbivore. So that pulls camels, joins these two files based upon that common element. Okay, so with that, I'm going to pause this and then run this just once over in Linux so I can see for sure what we have. All right, so let's check this out to make sure what we have will work. Cat join zoo. Okay, that's what join zoo looks like. Join zoo 1. That's what join zoo 1 looks like. Okay, now we'll go ahead and run this join command. Again, first file, second file, field and field, -t is the delimiter, and this is how those two will be put together. So that's really what we're after with the join. Now, in the interest of time, so we're looking at that. Okay, we can go ahead and create script files. Basically what we're doing is creating one big file that has all the separate commands with it. Now, the deal is that we're cutting this information out of Corp phones and we're storing it temporarily in a file called emp1. We're cutting the information out of Corp phones, the field 8 out of Corp phones 1, saving it temporarily in emp2, and then cutting the field 1 through, or let's see, it should be fields 1 through 3, right, out of Corp phones 1, and then storing it temporarily in emp3. We can then go ahead and take those temporary files, and we're putting a delimiter between each one of those temporary files into another temporary file, and then we're going to sort. Okay, so in VI, you would go to escape. Once you did that, type this in. You hit escape, of course, WQ to quit, write and quit. Run the program by typing sh./employee, and then that's what your output looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at employee. Okay, that's what that looks like. Temporary files over here. Now let's go ahead and run that. So sh to run the shell program, shell./employee, and that's what our output should look like. Okay, so I think that will conclude. There's some exercises in Chapter 4 using awk, which is a report writer. We're not going to do those. If I mistakenly asked you to do those, make sure you tell me not to do those. And then another page on awk. And then we have just the command summaries. So once again, this was all about 2 parts, Chapter 4, file processing. Thank you.